Okay, so we've now got our brand new Twitter account set up. Let's have a look at editing the profile and making some changes to the standard account. You'll notice I've still got this message at the top saying we've not confirmed our email. You may find that the email gets stuck in your spam filter, so check your spam filter or folder to make sure it's not got stuck in there if you don't see it straight away. And if you don't, you may need to update the email address with another one to try and get it to get through, because you do need to confirm that email and click on the link in it to make sure your account's active. Your account will show up, but if you don't get it done, it will limit what you're able to do with your Twitter account. Okay, so let's click on Edit Profile and have a play around with the different settings we have in here. Okay, so the first page account is fairly obvious, fairly standard stuff. We've got a username in there. It's still telling me I need to resend or check my email and get that confirmed. You can resend it from here. You can change your email address if you need to. You can choose your time zone, whether it's UK, US, etc., and add a location to your tweets. None of this is really necessary. I wouldn't bother clicking any of these really. The important one is not to tick this. Do not tick this, because otherwise your tweets won't show up and it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Okay, so on this page there isn't really anything you need to change. Password page, obviously that's for changing your password if you need to update that for any reason. Mobile is if you want to actually be able to send texts that then go through to your Twitter account as a tweet. I wouldn't bother with that on a niche blog. If you have your own personal Twitter account, you may find it useful, but on a niche blog, probably not that much use. I've never used it. Notifications, most of these I would switch off. Leave the bottom one switched on, product or service updates related to my Twitter account, but the rest of these, unless you're particularly interested in getting lots of email from Twitter, I'd switch them off. You could leave direct messages. That might be interesting. That's someone obviously trying to interact with you, so you may want to be able to reply to that, or possibly I've sent where you've been replied or mentioned. Most of these, if you have them on to start off with, you'll get the idea of whether they're useful or not, and probably within a few days or a week or so you'll come back in here and switch them off. Okay, the important one to keep on is the bottom one. Other than that, just untick them and click on Save. Okay, the next page, profile, is where we do want to make some changes. The two most important changes are actually very simple, but they're really important as to how your Twitter page is viewed by other people who visit it. Okay, the second of those is the design. The first is your profile picture. If you leave it as the default picture, people will really think that you're not very interested, you're not passionate, you're not really using your time or dedicating your time to this Twitter account, and are less likely to follow you. There are also automated tools for following you that if you have the default picture, they will automatically not follow you. Okay, now that could potentially be a good thing as well as a bad thing, but we do want to build up the list, the number of followers we have, so the automated follows can be useful in the early days at least. So really it is important to update this picture with something different. Now you can get something suitable from a free photo site. There's quite a few on the internet. If you do a search for copyright free image or free image, you should be able to, or even free clip art, you should be able to find a whole bunch of sites. This is one, freephoto.com. This is another, budgetstockphoto.com, and freeimages.co.uk. So all three of those can be useful to pick up some images to use for your profile. The other thing you can do is use a picture of yourself. If you do that, try and make sure it's a different picture for different Twitter accounts, so they're not all the same one, so they don't all look the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click on Choose File, and right in here, what I've done, basically I've set up a folder called NicheReaper, and in here I have a folder called NicheReaper Sites, and there I then list all my different sites, and for each one I keep track of the different bits and pieces, such as my articles. I keep all of those in that folder, plus some useful graphics for things like my Twitter account. So for instance, here we have one that's my face, but this is a home alarm thing, so I think using one of these CCTV cameras as an image for the Twitter account could be quite good. There's also a couple here that are generic, sort of extras, a news thing or a news announcement, so these could be useful as well. So you can find these sort of clip art images that you can use for all sorts of different niches. and just make sure that you are replacing the default picture with something new. So I'm going to go with this one, CCTV in operation. Basically, once I save this, it will update it so I no longer have the standard egg picture. You can also put in a location, so it can be as simple as UK, US, etc. I also highly recommend that you put in something for your web page. Now, it could be your Facebook page if you have a Facebook page set up, or let me just copy this. I'm just going to actually put in my blog's URL. Let's highlight that, hit Control V, there we go. So home alarm systems do-it-yourself.com, that is my web address, but equally, as I say, it could be your Facebook page as well if you want to. Now, the other thing to do is write yourself a little bio saying that you're interested in the subject, you're passionate about the subject, you share news about the subject, blah blah blah, something to make people interested in coming and having a look. Now, the other thing I tend to do there is I actually repeat my URL in that. So keep up with the latest news on home alarm systems and how to do it yourself. Check out my blog here, possibly check out my blog here for the latest information, etc. and put in the domain name again, okay? Just so you've got it there twice. Then all we need to do is click on save, and that will update, so we've now got the new profile picture that is a bespoke picture rather than the default, and we've now got our personalized information on there. Okay, so that's updated and we've now got a new picture, which is a bit different. Okay, the next page that we need to look at is design. The main thing here is just to move away from this default background picture. Okay, again, what you're doing is you're showing that you've actually spent some time doing something on the Twitter account and you are interested in it. Okay, I'm going to go with this black background here, and then all I need to do is click on Save Changes. Now, you can pick up your own background images. If you've got something that you've designed that you want to use, then you can pick that up and upload it instead, which can be very useful because you can then put in things like your contact details, your Facebook page down the left hand side here. That's if you're happy playing around with graphics and images. Okay, so all I really need to do is pick one of these that isn't the standard one, click on Save Changes, and that should update in a moment or two. And now, if I go back to home, we're going to have a different style of page. Okay, so we've got a different background. We've got, if we go to profile rather than home, we've got our little picture there, and our profile appears somewhere. Where's that? At the top here. So you can see we've got our profile information, we've got our URL. We've actually got it twice there because I put it in the description as well as in the web address. Why not? Give them plenty of chance to click on it. And all we need to do is get on with doing some tweets if we want to. So that's it for this video. That is how to configure or set up your Twitter account to make sure it looks real and you're going to get more follows this way. And more followers is basically going to mean more traffic to our blog. Okay, the next video we'll look at actually making your first tweet, just to show you how quick and easy that is. Then we'll go on to things like submitting to the Twitter directories and actually automation, where you can have your blog automatically do a tweet on your Twitter account whenever there's a new post, which is very useful. Okay, thanks very much for watching.